how to get to sleep fast, or just how to get to sleep. I know recently, especially with the way the world is at the minute, many people struggle to sleep, or at least struggle to sleep quick. And there's so many techniques out there, there's so many methods out there. I'm going to go over a few and then I'm going to tell you my personal favorite or what I do. But the main reason why people can't get to sleep is because of this thing, this fucking device that we carry around with us everywhere. Some people need it for business, like myself. Some people need it for entertainment. Some people need it to stay in touch with loved ones. Whatever you need it, it's not up to me to decide whether you should have it or not. I have this on me at all fucking times. I don't leave this in the bathroom when I go to sleep. I don't put this well away from me. I keep it right next to my fucking bed. The second I get up, it's in my fucking hand. And the last thing I put down before I go to sleep is my fucking phone. So I'm not here to tell you to minimize your phone usage or to get to bed an hour early. I don't fucking do that shit. I'm on my laptop in bed. I'm on my phone in bed. The last thing I like to do personally is play a game of chess, something that just relaxes me, takes my mind off, because when you're playing chess and it's timed, you can't be thinking about other things. You can't be thinking, oh shit, did this go on today? Have I got to do that tomorrow? Have I got to meet someone? None of that shit. You will not be thinking about anything other than the player's move and your move. And that's why I like to wind down with a game of chess. Now, I'm not saying go to sleep on time either, or go to sleep at the same time. I'm just telling you what I do. I'm pretty shit for going to sleep on time. It's just the way my mind works. Now, if I got to fucking bed and I went to sleep in whatever position it is, with nothing, just me, I would fucking struggle. And it often happens when these things, this is my fucking secret to get to bed, and I'm going to explain in a minute. If these aren't charged, I will put them on charge sometimes, and I'll try and get to bed thinking, it's all right, don't worry about it, let's try and go to fucking sleep. And it does not fucking happen. I cannot sleep without this fucking device, and I'm going to explain to you how I use it. I don't know why, my mind just races at 100 miles per hour. I'm thinking of all sorts of shit, and then all of a sudden I've got this fucking thought in my head and think, shit, I need to do this. My phone's over here, I grab my phone, I get into my notes, my eyes are fucking half shut, I write the note down and I put it down. And once I've done that, that is it. The fucking gates are open, because every 5 minutes, oh shit, I've got another thought, go and grab that. And that's my fucking thing when I'm in bed. Happens all the time. It's been happening for years, 10, 15. I think I remember it happening for at least the past 15 years. And before phones, fuck knows, my mind was racing. Anyway, what I did was I discovered a little trick, and I don't know how I figured this out. People said, oh, play music, you go to sleep and shit. That's not for me. So here's my step-by-step guide on how I go to sleep. First of all, I have an app on my phone called Audible, and I have a couple of books which I'm going to mention in another video, the kind of books I have. But let's say I open a book called the one I was listening to yesterday, The 48 Laws of Power. It's a classic. If you haven't read it, fucking read it. And I've listened to this book many times. In my sleep, when I wake up, when I'm driving, when I'm out and about, it's constantly on. But I'll just give you an example on how I do it. I'll open up The 48 Laws of Power. I will connect these to my headphones. Now, let me go over my headphones first and foremost. I'm not an Apple fucking, what do you call it? What do you call it? Like a Dick Rider, an Apple Dick Rider? No. I'm only using these headphones because they're a good product. And as you can see, they're not even fucking in there. But I'll explain why, because they're in the bedroom. Right, I just picked up the case. So, the reason why I use the AirPods 2 with the longer ones, I wish I had them now in the fucking room, and I can't be asked to edit the video. You know which ones I'm talking about, the Gen 2, the ones with a longer stem on it. They're thinner, they fall out of your ear really fucking easy. Now I'll explain why I get them. When you get the Gen 3 or the AirPods Pro, when you put them in your head and you all of a sudden roll to the side, what happens is it sticks in your fucking ear and it really hurts, so you can't get to sleep. When I use the Gen 2, the long ones, you know which ones I'm on about, the long ones, right? The ones with the long stem and the flat head on it. When you put them in your ear and you roll to the side, and if you've got a good pillow, you won't actually feel it. You won't feel it digging in. I don't know what other headphones available on the market that are as thin as the AirPods 2, but these are the ones I personally use. So I chuck them in, both of them, put the podcast on, and put the volume just low enough so that I can, if I'm moving around, I won't be able to hear it. If I'm moving and shaking, I'll hear, the bed sheet rustling and stuff like that. I will not be able to hear it. So that's how low the volume needs to be. So you need to put the volume really low so that if you stay still and you go to sleep, you will just be able to hear what is going on. Now, I normally put the timer on 30 minutes because I like to listen a little bit. So I'll put it on 30 minutes. I'll go to sleep. Now, the trick here is not to think about anything because you can still fucking wander. Your mind can still wander. When an audio book is playing, your mind can still be thinking about other things. The trick is to listen and focus on what the author is saying or the person who's reading the book, the narrator. And often it's not always the author. And sometimes there are certain books which I love. Like there's one book, which one is it? I think it's by Ryan Holiday. Which one is it now? Anyway, Daily Stoic, I think it is. Now the narrator in that's fucking terrible. His voice is really loud. It's overpowering. I love the book and I will listen to that during the day, but it's not something I can go to sleep to. So I put that in. And that is how I go to sleep. I will listen to what he's saying and try and understand and absorb the story that is being told. They're just personally my books I like to listen to. And before you know it, 5-6 minutes in, I knock out. And when I wake up, often I can remember pretty much the last 30 minutes. It's so weird. It's fucking strange. Don't laugh at me. Don't knock it until you've fucking tried it, okay? Pick a chapter, whichever it might be. Put your headphones in, and you don't know when you'll go to sleep. But the next morning, if your brain is programmed like mine, you will be able to remember at least 70% of that chapter. And I know that because often the next day, I'm out and about and I'll think, let me just listen to that chapter again. And I'll put the headphones in, and I'm doing some shopping in Aldi, wherever. And I'll think, I remember this from last night. So trust me, I'm not a fucking genius. I have 0 degrees. I have 0 education. But trust me when I say this fucking works. And when you go to sleep and you're listening to this subconsciously somehow, it's like a computer. It's just downloading the file of this into your fucking brain, especially when it's something you want to learn as well. If it's a story, then by all means, I don't know if you're going to remember it as much, but when you're like me and you want to remember something, then it will fucking work. And that is my tip that I use to get to sleep every single fucking night. And I know this because often I've been without this. If I'm traveling somewhere and I fucking forget my headphones, I cannot get to sleep. My mind is racing 24/7. And then what I'll do is I'll put, as long as there's no one else in the room, if I'm traveling, there's usually no one else, I'll put the low volume on, I'll leave it to the bedside, and I'll put the timer on and you'll go to sleep. And the other thing as well, not many people know this, but I will tell you. So if you've got something in your music file, and this is only for iPhone users only, if you've got something in your music, I normally just download stuff that I like. Again, audiobooks that I can't get hold on. Audible doesn't contain everything. I don't know why, even though I pay for it. Audible doesn't contain everything. I might go on YouTube, download some sound bites on there, download them up to my phone or whatever you want to call it, transfer it over, and then you press play. Now, people say there's no timer in the app for your iPhone, but there is. If you open Clock, I know this is a shit tutorial, if you open Clock, and you put the timer on, the countdown timer in Clock, and you click on when the timer ends, and you have all this option of the sound, so you have radar, apex, beacon, bullet, by the seaside, chimes, all this shit. If you scroll all the way to the bottom, at the bottom it says stop playing. You click on stop playing, and then what you have on in your music app, is that what it's called? Yep, the app's called Music. So you press play on the soundbite you downloaded from YouTube, or if it's a music, I don't know if it works with fucking songs. I don't know. I don't listen to music personally. I don't listen to music, so I don't know if it works with songs. But if you have something you want to play and you want it to stop whilst you go to sleep, that is what fucking works on the iPhone. You can set that timer for an hour, 30 minutes, however long. Me personally, 30 minutes is maximum because I don't want something playing in my ear all fucking night, and then your battery's dying on your AirPods, and then like me, you have to be charging them. And then the only other problem is, though, the only downside is, if you're abroad somewhere and you're on holiday or you're sleeping in a hotel room, just make sure you pick these up before you fucking exit, because I've many times I just leave them in bed, and obviously I'm used to just not picking them up. It's not something you see, and they're all over the place. By the time I wake up, it's not like one's here and one's here, or they're in my ears. They've fallen out by this time because I'm moving around in bed. And when I wake up, I'm thinking, where the fuck are the headphones gone? So I'll actually go back into the bed sheets, look for them. Oh, one's down there, one's over there, and then just make sure you put them in. Otherwise, it's an expensive fucking night every night. But that's it. When you're at home, bang these in. Try and keep these on charge as much as you can because the battery does die on them. I think I charge mine every like 2 to 3 days. But this is a fucking godsend. And if they were to make smaller headphones than this that work even better, I would use them. There are headphones by another company that fit right into your ears, but they don't let you play music. They don't let you play any audibles. So they just got their own sound waves on and shit like that, which is also helping you go to sleep. Never used it, don't know anything about that, but this is very fucking important. And the other thing I'm gonna mention in this video, I'll probably make a separate video for it, the Oura Ring or a band or a watch that measures your heart. Listen, fuck that shit. When you're sleeping, you're sleeping. I don't need to be told how good my sleep is. You know how I know how good my sleep is? When I fucking wake up. If I wake up ready to fucking go, ready to be on it, I will have the best night's fucking sleep and I'll kill the fucking day. And let me tell you something as well. It doesn't matter how long you fucking sleep. If you're sleeping 4 hours and you've got something to do the next day and you're fucking on it, 4 hours is like 12 fucking hours. That's how fucking good it'll be. It's all about your mental capacity and can you fucking be sleeping effectively, efficiently for that time. It doesn't matter if you're in bed and you're sleeping for 8 hours and you had the night sleep. You could still wake up tired. If your mind is tired and your body is tired, you can still be waking up tired even if you're sleeping 8 hours a night every single night. It doesn't fucking matter. So stop keeping track of this sleep cycle. It's not that fucking important. It's not that important for me. I jump out of bed every single fucking morning, bounce out of bed thinking, right, I have got shit to do. And that's another video as well. So hopefully this has been helpful. Get yourself some of these AirPods Generation 2 Audible app or use the music app on there. Download some music. Download some audiobooks, not music. I don't listen to music. Downloads, and I'm not that Taliban shit, by the way. I just don't listen to fucking music. Download some audiobooks off YouTube. They're free on there as well. If you want to act like a bit of a brokey, but it's okay if you don't want Audible. And that's it really. So if you guys have got any other tips, comment down below, like the video and subscribe.